Hey you guys, welcome to Team Epidemic. It's Tanner and Cody again. We're going to do just a brief BANLIST discussion because we know you've already seen the videos and we were not able to get you an actual reaction video. But we're mainly going to be giving you a Sky Striker deck profile.
Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably out there either burning your Striker cards or selling them, or you're ordering some $30 tech that you think you need to maximize consistency. Please wait until the end of this video because I have something that is super budget friendly, better than the Magnet Reverse, and will save you a lot of money. So stay tuned, check that out, and we'll get right to it in a second, I promise.
Some of the cards I'd like to talk about is Summon Sorceress. It being banned was a card. It was a problem card, but not in this format. This is a pretty open format, and it wasn't really broke. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm thinking one of the reasons it actually got banned is maybe we're getting Needle Fiber, possibly, because that was the reason the card was so broke, actually, because Needle Fiber with Summon Sorceress was just one of the most broke things you could possibly do. And I'm thinking it's actually leading up to that, because obviously in the OCG, it got banned, and the whole Needle Fiber, it kind of fell down a little bit, so hopefully we're getting Needle Fiber, maybe in the Mega 10s, because they're really hyped with this new little Mega 10 that they're doing and these special cards.
Great release for the Mega 10s.
I think so too. Maybe in another set. Dark Neos, they're also, you all are getting Phoenix, I think is the name of it.
Salamangreat.
Yeah, Salamangreat. It's just a good card because it'll help you search out your Fusion of Fire, I believe it is. It helps you search out, no, it adds, I'm sorry. It adds your normal spell to your hand if it's used for link material of link 2 or higher. You can correct me on that, but that's coming out in it because Lady Debug did get hit, and that kind of sucks about that.
With Super Poly coming back to 2, I think like Super Poly was really being played at 1, and then it like kind of dropped down. It's going to jump back in, but I think the Fusion of Fire, Super Poly, especially with Phoenix coming out, I think that's definitely going to be a huge meta play soon enough.
The Fusion is a problem card. Like, it really is. It's a great card, and if you can get it out consistently, it's just so fantastic.
The Altergeist player that topped was actually siding in 3 for his salad plays. He was playing Altergeist, but he was using the Fusion of Fire just to out their boards. So, I mean, it definitely has context in this format.
I mean, it's a fantastic card. Another thing I just want to really talk about real quick is Skulldread. Skulldread, like,
I had all my money on Skulldread getting banned, or at least limited, but no.
If anything, it should have been limited.
Like, in Summon Sorceress, super broken card. It wasn't doing anything broken in this format. Skulldread, super broken card, being exploited to the limit and not touched. But, I mean, that's Konami, but Konami did say it was going to be a very minimal ban list, and they have been super transparent lately. They've been telling us like what they were planning, and so far everything they've said's checked out. So they did barely just kind of put things in check, and all the decks that were capitalizing on Skulldread actually weren't topping that much, even though they were making super broken boards. I guess just the level of hand traps being played in this. So I guess they just wanted to give those decks a chance to get the prime spot. So,
and talking about hand traps, Miscellaneous Source is back at 3 for Dinos. Honestly, in my opinion, Dino still, I don't think will be a broke deck, but there is a chance you'll be seeing it. Miscellaneous Source.
I mean, it was always a good deck. I think we'll definitely see it on a regional level. We'll probably get a couple tops. It won't be like top dog or anything, but it'll just be so good to see that.
I mean, at a regional level, I won't be surprised at all. But Miscellaneous Source is going to help you with your Solar Overreactor, I believe it is, with Miscellaneous Source, because you're not going to be able to be affected by card effects. So that's going to help out to a good degree, and also the whole Banish effect, and then you get all your other cards. It is a good card. It was not what broke the deck. The True King is what truly broke the deck, but it will help out the deck. And honestly, I can see it on regional level.
And that's the thing, like when they hit it, they hit both of them at the same time just because it was a super broken deck. But now I think they realize they can, especially with the much hand traps that are out, they can bring Misk back. And it's basically just an in-deck call by the Grave that also puts a Dino in Grave and a Fire in Grave. So it's just a really good tech for the deck, and I think they know what they're doing bringing it back.
Yeah. And then the last card I actually would like to talk about is Super Poly. I feel like you might actually be seeing a little bit more zombies going around. I know they were kind of just lingering there, but Super Poly back at 2. You got the whole third fusion. I'm sorry for the life of me, I cannot think of its name off the top of my head. I forget that
name every time.
But it is actually a fantastic card. Plus, some great players were playing it, and then with Phoenix coming out, and then people were playing more of the fusion possibly.
There was even Striker players capitalizing on Super Poly as well.
Yeah. So it at 2, like I feel like it's actually going to change to an extent. Like, it was getting played there at 1, and then it kind of fell off a little bit. But I feel like it back at 2 will do something in the meta. But that's actually all the ban list talk we're going to actually talk about, because like we said, it's just more or less a patch. It's fixing some minor issues, and Sky Strikers was the majority of the things that got really hit with Kagari, and that's the reason we didn't talk about Kagari too much, because we're actually going to show you a deck profile that just only needs one Kagari.
Yeah. I mean, granted, 3 Kagari is always optimistic, but we got to work with what we got. The deck list, which it has been up this whole time, so it's pretty standard, and of course you can mess with the ratios. I have the 3 Ray, the 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Veilers. I know a lot of people love these at 3, and then 1 Ghost Ogre, which I've seen a lot of top players running 2 to 3 Ghost Ogre. They're super good in this format. So if you guys want to work out different ratios for these, this is what I took, and actually it never let me down. So the only games I really lost in were grind games, which now that Kagari's cut down, you kind of forced to work Hercules. Is it Beetle? I don't even know the name of it. Hercules base. But it's really good to recycle your resources. And again, all the games I lost with Striker were the grind games, just because it is kind of a control deck format. So it's honestly really good to be forced to put this back in the deck, because the more you use it, I think the more people are going to like it. But that's not actually the tech we're going to talk about. Of course, we do have the Rhoda, the 3 Engage, which is also getting a reprint soon, so don't forget about that. The 1 Hornet Drones, 1 Upstart, 2 Terraformings. I just have 1 Afterburner. I'm actually not running Jamming Waves in here. I am doing the MSTs. I'm not going to lie, I do miss Jamming Waves a lot in a lot of scenarios, so I think either decision you make in that aspect is the right one. If you take it out, you're fine. If you put it back in, you're good, because it does help get rid of monsters that you can't target. Because the only targeting aspect of Jamming Waves is targeting the back row, then the monster destruction is non-targeting. And a lot of people don't know that. So that's what makes that card super good in my opinion. I do have 2 Called by the Graves. 3's pretty good in this too. And again, these ratios are just, it's hard to pick exactly what you want, because sometimes you'll see it too much and sometimes you don't see it enough. But 2 solid, especially with 2 Eagle boosters, because I feel like that's most of the time you just, Eagle booster what they're ashing or ghost belling or effect veiler and permanents. So Eagle boosters really just top notch in this deck. 3 Widows. 3 multi-rolls, because it didn't get touched. Honestly, I thought multi-roll was what they were going to hit in this deck, just because not your opponent not being able to respond is the most broken aspect.
And also, you got to think about them resetting the resources they've already used.
Yeah, like just bringing back that engage, all that stuff. It's like, there's multi-roll does so much. And I literally, this is what I had all my money on them hitting. And I figured they'd leave Kagari alone, leave Engage alone, just take multi-roll out or put it at 1. That way it was super easy to deal with. And that's actually why people's been capitalizing on Ghost Ogre, is to deal with the multi-rolls. So I guess Konami just left it alone. So honestly, in my opinion, Sky Strikers can't be too mad, because they still have a card that pretty much locks their opponent out for a turn, because they can't respond to their spells, and that's pretty much all you use. And then when they respond to your monster effects, you just Eagle Booster it, so you're protected anyways. I do run 3 field spells, because that is the just consistency of the deck, getting Ray out, searching the top 3 cards. I do have 2 MSTs. I love it at 3, love it at 2. It's just one of those things where you got to make room. 2 is solid. Definitely put more Twin Twisters in the side deck, which you can make these Twin Twisters. I've honestly just been in situations where MSTs worked out better, just because you can MST your own field spell, you can activate Engage, hit chain MST, targeting your Engage, and MST will be your 3rd one, so you're pretty much turning it into an upstart goblin. You can like just Salamangreat when they have the 1 back row, just hit it, or if you know where Roar is at. So MST is honestly perfect.
I actually want to just take a second to talk about MST, if you don't care. MST, I've been actually saying for a long time. I mean, many years. Ever since Twin Twister's been a thing. I've been talking about MST's been, like, still relevant. People's faded away from it. But MST, you got to think about it. It's a 1-for-1. You're trading 1 card for their 1 card. Twin Twister, you take 2 of your cards, and you might only be getting rid of 1 of theirs. And that's not a plus, in my opinion.
That is the thing. And like, if there's any deck that can get rid of multiple cards, it would be Sky Strikers, just because Engage draws so much. But when you're using Twin Twister, ditching a card, and just targeting 1 back row, that always hurts.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and there's decks, though, that Twin Twist is better. You want cards in the graveyard. Like Salamangreats, Zombies. There's so many decks. But also, like, it's just funny to me that people think, like, Twin Twisters, Max Cylinder, Mirror Force, all them cards are just, like, low level, like, I can't believe you guys. MST's not that bad, you guys. It
Exactly.
really isn't. Like, it is a 1-for-1, and it is a consistent 1-for-1, unlike Twin Twister. Not saying don't play Twin Twister. Twin Twister is fantastic.
And either one you choose is great because
Yeah.
you can dump another spell into the graveyard with Twin Twister. And like that comes into play a lot. It's just one of those things that they're both super situational. And honestly, in my experience, when I choose one, I need the other. And when I choose the other, I need that one. So it's just one of those things where you're never satisfied and you're always wondering what if. But I've actually had a lot of people take my advice and swap to MSD, and I've saw it in a lot of the championships at like YCS and stuff. All the top like number one spots were running MSTs instead, so you can't argue with the results.
And one's actually made as a Ghost Rare. One isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
just
Ghost Rare
saying that.
MST for the win.
I mean,
I do run the Foolish Burial Goods and 2 Foolish Burial Goods and 1 Metal Foes. This is another love-hate relationship. I mean, it is the brick of the deck. I mean, I've even taken Metal Foes out and just kept the Foolish Burial Goods because there's been many situations where I just kind of use Foolish Burial as like a high octane, getting that engage in the graveyard to add it back with Kagari. So I've taken it out, I've put it back in, I've taken it out. I've saw a lot of people doing away with it, but then a lot of people keeping it in there. It is consistency, so I can't argue with it. My main thing's like, which I was very sleep deprived. I forgot to activate my Metal Foes Fusion in the graveyard like 3 times this last regionals. So that is my bad, and definitely not the card itself, but it hurts. It hurts. I do have 1 Shark Cannon here. This card's super good, especially with Kagari being at 1, because in your mirror match, you just steal your opponent's Kagari, special summon it to your side of the field, and you get its effect. So, I mean, I've saw people running 2, I've saw people running 3. I can't argue with it. It's just super good. It gives you link fodder, and it just gives you OTK for Boral Sword. And I mean, it's a super solid card. Now, this is the tech we have been wanting to talk to you about. It is link bound. I know everybody's getting the Magnet Reverse for $30-something, and really the only advantage that Magnet Reverse has is that it can target a banished one. So if you get called by the grave, you can get your banished Kagari back, or if you get Winter Chariot, you can get your banished. So it's definitely not bad. It is $30, and link bound is currently, for the super rare, 5 cents on TCG. It is super awesome. But link bound, you target 1 link monster you control or in your graveyard. So if Kagari's on the field or if it's in your graveyard, you return it to the extra deck. And then you draw cards equal to its link rating, which sadly is just 1 in this scenario.
does Magnet Reverse, does it allow you to draw a card?
It does not. It does not at all. Which you do have to kind of return however many cards you draw back to the bottom of your deck. So it's more of a cycle than a draw. It's kind of like the Skull Dread thing, except you're doing the exact amount. But that being said, it's just like Phantasme, just like Skull Dread. You're getting to your pieces that you need, your combo pieces, your floodgates, your outs. You can never argue with consistency. And the coolest thing about this is I actually use it for more damage, because every time I play Sky Strikers, I find myself just like 1,500 away from that win in that one turn, because it's just always a little short. So what I'll do is I'll make my Link monster, like Hornet Drone's Link, normal summon Ray, and then I'll go into battle phase, attack with the Link, attack with the Ray, use Link Bound, return the Link monster back to my extra deck, so my extra monster zone is free, and then Ray can tag out and make another Link monster and attack directly for more damage. So that is another advantage over Magnet Reversal that BANLIST has, which Magnet Reversal is also a quick play, so it can bring it out. It just always brings it back to the main monster zone. And this, again, this just recycles resources. I think they're both super viable options. This one's just not going to cost you $30 each. And it also lets you draw into consistency cards. Another thing I want to say about Link Bound is that I actually brought it into the deck when I was main decking There Can Be Only One, which is still super, super viable, if not more so, since pretty much we all know Salad or Salamangreats are just going to run rampant for the next few months. Because they did get checked with Lady Debug, but a lot of players are switching over to Flame Buffalo anyways, so I don't really feel like that was a huge hit for them. It just kind of forced their hand to play the other one, because a lot of them were torn on the decision. So I don't think they really got hit at all. Because one, Lady Debug was better, in my opinion, because it searched. But also, it was a lot easier to interrupt. And then they were kind of, like, if you Ghost Ogred that Lady Debug, that was pretty much their turn. So, like, I actually kind of wish they left Lady Debug alone. But with that being said, you can main deck there can be only one. You can side it in, and then you can use Link Bound to not only draw into your cards that you need, but also play around there can be only one. So between your field spell sending your Link monsters away, your multi-roll sending your Link monsters away, or their Link Bound, you can just continue playing almost like there can be only one wasn't on the field. And that's originally what brought me onto this card, and I've actually had it set aside just in case the ban list did this. And also, if they took Skull Dread to one, this was going to be my remedy for Skull Dread players that really needed that second or third Skull Dread, because you get to use it, and it's draw 4, return 4, so it's constantly going through your deck, returning your Skull Dreads. It's just a super great card. They're only 5 cents for a super rare right now. There was actually a common reprint in the Salamon Great Structure decks, and I think everybody just overlooked how good this card is.
I mean, absolutely. Yes. I mean, when you look between two, this one puts it back in your extra deck. The other one special summons to the field. This one allows you to cycle resources in a way because it's draw one, put one back in.
Yes.
The other one, not so much. And Starstriders, they do have the issue of a card being in their main monster zone, which is what that other card does. It puts it in your main monster zone.
Which, I mean, granted, you can just link away into another one, so it's not that big of a deal, but if you already have a link out, then you're forced to go into your link 2s and such like that. So, like you said, it can be a problem.
Yeah, but like if they chain like a card effect or something very important, you really need to Widow Anchor it, and that Kagari stuck in your main monster zone. It's not really a problem, but
there can be situations.
Yeah, there's situations where, I don't know, for 5 cents, it's looking pretty good to me.
That's the thing. Like, you're saving $29.95. Like, that's all I got to say about it.
Sounds like an info commercial.
Yeah, exactly. Also, with Kagari being gone, you have options for your extra deck. You can go into Winter Cherries, which I was torn between playing. I actually regret not seeing it through last regionals, just because hitting Salad just hurts so bad, and hitting the Skull Dreads or hitting the Colossus just makes all your matchups easier. So you definitely have extra room now that Kagari's not in there. However, I think 8 out of 10 games, like single games that I lost, was because I didn't have Link 3s or enough generic Link 3s that I could go into. So with Kagari being gone, you can capitalize on Trisabana, which is really good for time situations. It's really good for the Striker Mirror. I mean, you literally just make this. It works just like Topologic Bomber. You Hornet Drones or Shark Cannon or something along the lines. Special summon to one of its zones. It blows up all the back row, banishes actually, and your opponent takes damage. So it's like I said, it's great for time. It's a great generic Link 3. It's easy to get to. It's just 2 monsters. So you know, a Link 2 and a Link 1, or a Link 2 and a monster. It's super easy to get to. You can also throw in more of your Unicorn. I actually wasn't running this, and it's not the best, especially with Ningirsu. I actually prefer this, but being able to run both is not bad. So just having the extra space. I know it seems like Sky Strikers took a hit. Really, they just got checked a little bit. It could have been a lot worse. I think with this profile, and if you do decide to go Winter Cherries, or if you do decide just to capitalize on Link 3s, because that was my problem. There's a lot of grind games where I was running out of resources, so the Hercules base is going to come in there. It'll actually like return cards to make your Engage in your hand live again, because there were several times where like I would have Engage in hand and just I've already searched out a lot of my stuff, and it was like grind game 20 turns in because it's mirror match. I mean, you played 6 Sky Strikers out of 9 rounds. Played 6 Sky Strikers, which I don't think is going to be the issue anymore. It's definitely going to be lower represented in my opinion, but you never know. It's one of those decks that refuses to die, and I think every solid Sky Striker player knows that this isn't really reason to panic. Especially with the many options like Magnet Reverse and Link Bound and Hercules Base out there, just to capitalize and reinsure that consistency.
Yeah, but with this patch, I guess, not really BANLIST, but I mean, it's a complete open format. It really doesn't matter what you play. You can almost play any deck right now.
Exactly, and like, I'm thrilled about it, and I know a lot of people have been happy. Konami even put out a thing that they were just going to do a minor little tweak to it just because everyone was so happy with the format. Granted, like, that doesn't mean you can just let decks that's been winning for a year straight keep winning, hence why Sky Strikers had to get touched a little. But I really commend Konami for just not nuking the deck completely, because it is a lot of players' favorite deck. They've played with it a long time. Not to mention, there's still that reprint coming out. They just got announced the Ultimate Rare Hayate, was it?
Yeah.
In the OTS. So, I mean, there's still Striker stuff being released. And I think, like, as good as Strikers is, they can hit some of the older cards, and it just leaves room for more cards to come. And I'd actually love, like, how crazy would it be for Sky Strikers to get another main deck monster, like, other than Ray? I mean, granted, Ray does all you need, but I just love the idea of entertaining another normal summon for the deck. And just the capabilities, I know it's not needed, but the capabilities of what it could do.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if they made a normal monster, it's like, oh, return this Link monster to your
exactly,
yeah.
like something to capitalize on resources in a different way. I mean, that's what Striker does.
But also
the game's resources.
But then again, it just puts it back to where the deck was.
And that's true. I mean, it gives you maybe if they
knowing Konami, it doesn't even matter.
Don't make it a tribute quick effect, so it's a little easier to deal with, like in Perm or something. But that might jive up the whole main monster zone flow. Who knows? I mean, just seeing some higher links for Sky Strikers, like instead of everything being Link 1.
Oh,
like just seeing a Link 2 or a Link 3, that would be pretty sweet in my opinion. Like a boss, like a legit boss monster. Because right now it's all of them. Like you need every one of them, all that stuff. So seeing like a new Link 3 just boss monster,
like a true Mech Knight.
Exactly,
like instead of these little armors that they're in, like a true, like, this is my boss monster. Not a bunch of mini little army I have.
Like Kagari, I guess, is the boss monster, but it's really not, I mean, it gains attack. I mean, they'll get up to like 2,500 or something, but just something with just fear-invoking capabilities.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's pretty much it for the deck. We're not really going to do any replays because we all know how Striker works. We may upload some later on just to demonstrate the link-bound capabilities. And you can run it at 3 because you definitely want to see it with Kagari at 1. But I feel like 2 and 1 Hercules base is pretty good since Hercules base is searchable. And it's just part of the Sky Striker addendum. But other than that, that's pretty much our solution to the ban list. We hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to comment. Let us know what you think about it. If you had thought about it before, if this is a card you looked over like everybody else seems to have. And if you've already ordered those Magnet Reverse, maybe throw them back up for sale and just go this route. Because again, like I like the artwork on Linkbound. I like this. I mean, it's already in a super, so it's pretty good. It matches the like Sky Striker is a bling deck. Granted, a secret would be ideal, but it's not like a dead common in there because I do hate running commons in a deck where 90% of it's either super or it's secret. I mean, but that's pretty much it for today. We're actually doing sneak peek videos this Saturday, so we will be coming with 2 videos this week. So we're going to be doing the Dark Neos openings, and we're going to get you with those. Kind of make up for missing the ban list because we are sorry about that. It was just a terrible day. We've been waiting for it for months. We've been prepared, and then it hit us on the one day we weren't thinking about it, like the ban list always does.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to take a second to say, don't forget to subscribe because once we hit that 500 subscribers, we'll be doing another giveaway.
Yes.
Like Zach Younger from England. He's who got our mat. And then we're going to be doing another one at 750 subscribers, and then a epic giveaway at 1,000 subscribers.
When we get there, trust me, we will blow your minds.
Yes. So make sure you do subscribe to this channel and to be part of this.
I think that's about it for today. Thank you, guys.